Okay, I'm going to first of all explain the thumbnail. I'm going to start by explaining the thumbnail. Oops, I pinned the wrong thing. Okay, so I pinned the link. This is an open panel. We're going to be doing dusty questions from Ace Metaphor, which we haven't done in a while, but I wanted to see what type of dust I could stir up on Sunday after church. After church. After. Um, Welcome, Chica, the other MJ. Hello. Wake Up, Makeup Slay. Mara, D. Hello, everyone. The thumbnail is going to give me bad dreams. Okay, so let me explain the thumbnail. Um, it's just me hanging out with some of my friends. Um, yeah, yeah. It's just me hanging out with some of my friends. Before we started Dusty Questions, I did want to look at. I saw Julesy put something on her second channel. And the title was "Should Women Plan for Single Motherhood?" And I thought maybe we could go through that just to do kind of a warm up, or we could do Dusty Questions first. Let me see what the first question is, and depending on how dusty it is. During a drinking game, you find out that your husband had a same-sex sexual encounter during college. How would you feel? Explain. Okay, let's start with the other video. We don't have to start with Dusty Clay. Oh, I didn't know y'all were still in a mod meeting. Hello, Cantor. In Pookimus Prime. Okay. Pookimus Prime. Interesting. So I wanted to pull her video up, and we can go through that quickly before.
And I think it's really disheartening to say that we are encouraging people and young or women in general to think about parenthood and bringing children into the world as a you can't rely on someone else. I had seen some tweets pop off. I was just telling my cousin that as a woman, we should only become
the title of the video, by the way, is "Should Women Plan for Single Motherhood?"
moms if we reconcile that we may have to be the sole parent and are okay with it. You can cross all the T's and dot all the I's with choosing a man, but he shouldn't be considered into your decision to be a mom. That tweet made me feel very uncomfortable. I think that this concept leans into, I don't know if am I correct here, but I feel like there's this push for individualism that is rooted in like an anti-intellectualism. I don't know, because it's weird because they are prescribing this idea that you need to be able to take on this immense amount of work of motherhood, but largely do it on your own. But that also reinvests in capitalism because
She said this was an anti-intellectualism push. I don't think so. I don't really understand that perspective as far as. Let me see what the tweet said before we go back to. Oh, that's an unflattering screenshot. My bad, Jules. I'm sorry. Okay. I was just telling my cousin that as women, we should only become moms if we reconcile that we may have to be the sole parent and are okay with it. You can cross all the T's and dot all the I's with choosing a man, but he shouldn't be considered into your decision to be a mom. Okay. So in my mind, let's see. In my mind, this is just like, what if you think you have a nice person? What if you have vetted thoroughly? What if you've set up standards and boundaries and expectations and all that good stuff? And the man still leaves. Are you prepared to live a life like that? Are you prepared to raise a child alone and without the help of your partner? I don't necessarily see that as anti intellectualism, but I assume she's going to explain it now.
shouldn't be considered, I don't know, anti-intellectualism. I don't know, because it's weird because they are prescribing this idea that you need to be able to take on this immense amount of work of motherhood, but largely do it on your own. But that also reinvests in capitalism, because if you are to say that I'm going to do motherhood or parenting on my own, all those other assets that would have been contributed to your child's life via community, you now have to buy into. The idea that I can be partnered to a man and he shouldn't be considered in my decision to be a mom because, niggas is just that trifling. I feel that even if you're married, you should go into motherhood with the expectation that you will.
Wait, so she sounds actually like surprised, but no, I feel like this is really common. The idea that you have like a really good stand-up guy get pregnant and then everything changes. Again, my interpretation isn't that women are not considering the fact that they have a man into their becoming pregnant. I assume most women generally probably do think that they have a man when they get pregnant, or if they're purposefully trying to get pregnant, I assume they think that they're going to have a man to be there with them. I don't think people are intentionally becoming single mothers, for example. Again, this just seems kind of like this just seems kind of like a, what's it called? Like an exercise, maybe. Have y'all ever done a school? Well, I'm young. I'm not gonna say school shooting drill. Have y'all ever done like a fire drill or a tornado drill where y'all just, the students go out in the hallway and tuck themselves into a ball as if that's gonna save you from a tornado, and kind of just practice to make sure that when, if a tornado hits, the people are ready to do what needs to be done when the tornado hits. Again, that's my interpretation. I don't think it's like an anti-intellectualism thing, and I don't think it's a case of people, well, why do we need to teach the kids this? The teachers are going to be there to save them. Okay, well, what if the teachers aren't? What if the teacher gets sucked out the window? The child should still know what to do, right? It's not necessarily that we're excluding the teacher when we think of these plans. It's that we're preparing for if a teacher gets sucked out a window. So that's how I see it.
Co-parent, even in a two-parent household. Starting a family with the expectation that a man gonna show up the way he's supposed to is a recipe for disappointment. Are you ready? Do you want a mother strong enough to do it by herself? If you found out you were pregnant on Monday and the nigga left you on Tuesday, are you still excited about being a mom? And then somebody quote tweeted this and stated, I don't know why people are upset at this because I want to take it even further. Don't go into motherhood expecting any kind of support from anyone other than yourself. This includes family members and friends as well. I hear so many mothers talk about the lack of support in general. And to me, this just screams a lack of understanding about what it means to foster community. What does friendships actually mean? And I'm going to do a video next week about how social media devalues friendships. But I think a lot of these conversations are just about one component of the framework of community, of the framework of friendships, and miss out on the understanding of cultivation, of consent, of bringing people in, and honestly, the labor that is required in fostering these relationships. Because to me, the idea that I am going to prepare myself to raise a child as a single person, devoid of community, friendships, partnerships, sets my child up for failure. You can provide financially.
Again, I don't think this is setting the child up for failure. Hello, Alicia. Welcome. Welcome, Hope. A thought exercise. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't think this is setting your child up for failure. I actually, maybe I'm like not interpreting what she's saying correctly, but I think this would be setting you up for the most success. Ideally, you do want, if the man, ideally you want the man there to raise the child. If he's not there, ideally you want to be able to fall back and rely on your family, on your friends, and on your community. If you're not able to, you should be able to rely on yourself. If you can't rely on yourself, you might be in for a bad time. If we go back to what the tweet said, let me make sure I keep my spot so we don't get lost. I don't know why people are upset at this. I want to take it even further. Don't go into motherhood expecting any kind of support from anyone other than yourself. This includes family members and friends as well. I hear so many mothers talk about the lack of support in general. And she was replying to, I was just telling my cousin that as women, we should only become moms if we reconcile that we may have to be the sole parent and are okay with it. You can cross all the T's and dot all the I. Oh, yeah, that's the one we just read. So, yeah, I don't necessarily see this as bad. I don't see this as like, again, I don't see this as like a prescription. Like, I see it as more of a, well, I guess it's a prescription, but it's more of a preventative measure to make sure that you're going to be okay if push comes to shove. And if you're in the worst case scenario, well, we have two alternate worlds, and one is where you did everything right and the person just didn't show up for you and you're able to do it by yourself. And in the other world, you did everything right and the person didn't show up for you and now you're just SOL. I would rather be in the world where I'm prepared if stuff does hit the fan. And again, I want to point out that in the tweet it says you can cross all the T's and dot all the I's. Like, this isn't just I made no effort into, I just picked up a random person off the street and chose him to be a father. I just handpicked out some friends who I haven't talked to in 6 months and tried to get them to help me raise my child. Like, no, it feels like someone taking effort into trying to cultivate a good environment for their child as far as community and as far as picking a man. And if they can't, they're able to do it by themselves. I absolutely don't understand the, well, I don't know if she's outraged. It feels like she's upset at this, but let's listen to a little more.
These conversations are just about one component of the framework of community, of the framework of friendships, and miss out on the understanding of cultivation, of consent, of bringing people in, and honestly, the labor that is required in fostering these relationships. Because to me, the idea that I am going to prepare myself to raise a child as a single person, devoid of community, friendships, partnerships, sets my child up for failure. You can provide financially, you can provide up to a certain amount emotionally, you can provide the nourishment, but the robustness that is required to foster and raise a child relies on community. And I think even more so relies on community because so much of child rearing in American society has now been privatized. And I think it's really disheartening to say that we are encouraging people and young or women in general to think about parenthood and bringing children into the world as a you can't rely on someone else. What I do think is, I think part of this is a byproduct of like the,
again, I'm gonna keep pausing it because I just really disagree with this framing, y'all. Like, I tell some of my women friends, this is a dangerous city. If you're out by yourself, you might want to carry some pepper spray. You might want to carry a firearm if you can legally own one. You might want a taser. You might want something out there. You might want something. It would be, in my mind, it would be weird for someone to respond to that like, what? Why can't I expect my community to protect me? Why can't I expect my friend group to protect me? Why can't I expect, like, what if they're not there? What if you're by yourself and you have to rely on yourself? Again, I just feel like I feel like her response to this is kind of weird, but I also might be missing the point. There's a lot of jargon mixed into this critique without actually getting to the point. Well, she did say this might just be an intro to a Patreon video, so maybe I'll see if she put it on her Patreon. Hello, Faabdi. I hope I said that right.
explosion of TikTok. I think so many conversations that we are having now that seem so hyperbolic, like extreme in nature, are rooted in the way the TikTok algorithm works to be so powerfully precise in what it shows you. In that the Mariah the Scientist spread thin trend happened, and it was a lot of young Black women that, you know, if you're Black, that's what you're largely getting service, talking about getting out of the mud, going through like a really traumatic experience, and then staying with a man because they had a baby, then that man making the same mistake he's making before and leaving them, and now they're doing what they got to do for their child. And I think in response, you're kind of responding to the idea that so many of us are ingesting this message that relationships should be transactional, that the way we choose a partner is based on.
She called it a, I guess, TikTok. Afro said, what is the thumbnail? I guess y'all are new here to the channel, but welcome. Welcome, Chica. So she said, this is an interesting take. She said TikTok is going to push the most and I agree with her. TikTok is going to push the most controversial, the loudest, the most toxic type of stuff all the time. That is what TikTok does. It will suck you in and it will give you nothing, and it will take all from you. So I agree with that part, but I don't think TikTok is like, I don't think this is, even if it is propagated by TikTok, I don't necessarily think that's bad. Like I think the single parent rate is something like 65 to 67%, I want to say, in the Black community. I don't know what it is as of 2023, but I do remember looking at Pew Research, and it kind of shifted between 65 and 67 over the past decade. So this is not like some, oh, TikTok just pushed the most controversial thing to the top of the algorithm. This feels like reality. I mean, it feels like reality. People are going to probably pick someone who they think is a good partner. 70%. The single parent rate is now 70%. I'm gonna need a citation. That's tough. But yeah, this is like 2/3 or more of women, generally women. It's not generally single fathers, who are being left single mothers, and they might find out that they don't have a community behind them just because you keep saying, "Oh, community, community." You can rely on people. What type of world are we living in when people are preparing to be single parents? We live in the real world. Well, at least in the Black community. I don't know how it is in the white community, but maybe that could be what she's talking about. Maybe just communities broadly. But okay, she keeps specifying to the Black community though. She's like, oh, it's presenting these Black women who are all this go-getter attitude and such like that. So I'm going to assume she's talking about the Black community. And yeah, this is reality. So even if this is TikTok pushing this message, I don't see it as bad when this is a reflection of reality. I think TikTok's going to reflect reality, not reality is going to change because of TikTok. But maybe I'm wrong.
On the transactional aspect of what he can financially provide. And because we are so disconnected from emotional maturity and the necessity of emotional intelligence within a relationship, and we also just don't have a great pool of men who have honed in on that skill set, that our response that is to say, yeah, you can have the kid, but be ready to be alone. I think so many people view community as simply the people that they are around, right? So you live in close proximity to your immediate family and to the friends that you went to school with, and you expect these people to show up, but we've never turned around and taken an investment in really building out these relationships to the way that you want them to show up in your life. And I've talked about this time and time again, right? And it's work. It is. I don't think there's any way to get around the concept that, like, relationships take labor. And I get, late stage capitalism got us all fucked up. We all fucking tired. And I think about, one of the things of my childhood is, my parents not having access to the communities that I thought would really benefit me, right? I had a lot of interest as a child, and my parents couldn't afford to supplement me pursuing those interests. And so I was always trying to find ways. I was like, it would be great. Like if I rather than having to take a photography class, if my parents just knew someone who was a photographer and I could just hang out with them. You know how many communities of privilege really are able to come in and supplement for the children. And so thinking about my homegirls and my homeboys and having those kind of people in my social circle. If I want to live a creative lifestyle and I'm inspired by other creatives, then cultivating those relationships. I think people often make the assumption that, well, you're my immediate family. I live amongst you. So you're going to be the community. You have the kid and you don't have any conversation about how you want them to show up for you and then how you show up for them until the kid's already here. And so this idea that simply because you've talked to people who often talk about the lack of support in general is, I think there is a certain amount of an assumption of who is actually in your community. You've never asked people to consent because somebody could be your family, but they cannot be in your community. Somebody can live in close proximity with you, but not actually be in community with you. Or somebody might be in community with you, but they're not a close friend. They're a social acquaintance. And I
Wait, so what if let me see. What if we change the tweet to don't have a child if you're not ready, if you haven't had a conversation with your community about whether or not you should raise a child? Maybe she would be maybe she would like that better. I think she's trying to say don't give up on building a community, but it's not connecting because the tweet is talking about a preventative measure. Yeah, that was my interpretation. We're a bit blind on the reality of the community, and we want to see the aesthetic of rich mama on white TikTok. I keep getting this girl marrying rancher after 3 dates. I didn't understand the parentheses part. The problem with the initial tweet is if you took it literally, a man's fitness for parenthood would not come into consideration at all when choosing a husband or partner. That's stupid. Yeah, I can see that being an issue. If you take it literally, I can see that. But even then, she's not talking about that. She's talking about, my issue is, y'all know how I feel about community and obligation and all that. I definitely feel like your community has an obligation to you, especially if you're young or a child, and you don't generally have an obligation back to your community. Y'all can judge that all you want, but I'm going to expect, if a young single woman has a child that she's raising along, I'm going to expect the community to come around and support her, and not for her to have to go out and seek the community. Even though I don't think it's bad to prescribe to people, hey, you should cultivate good friendships with people who might be able to help you in tough times or when you have a child, and etc. etc. But yeah.
See so much overlap in discussion between people talking about, oh, I don't really need friends. And I'm like, you're talking about you don't really need friends because all you've ever experienced is social acquaintances. If you only like hang out with this person because you like to have a good time with them, and there's no emotional connection, there's no vulnerability, that's not a friend. I don't understand advocating that women should pursue parenthood even when they're partnered as a pursuit of single parenthood. Even if a woman is choosing, what is the thing now? Single mother by choice. SMBC, so for single women that are going through IVF, and I get it, it's a point of privilege, but I think if you're doing IVF as a single woman, we're talking about a privileged group of women in general. Women tend to like not want to talk about it because there's a level of shame and, oh, you're not partnered. But like, I don't know. Like, community doesn't have to be this big vast thing. It could be a handful of people, because it's not like pregnancy or IVF in particular is a quick journey. You got to raise the money. You got to go through the testing. You got to go through the shots and the hormone treatment, and then the 10 months of gestation. If you know that you're going to pursue a certain lifestyle, or you're even considering a lifestyle, that's out of the heteronormative standard of like American societal norms, that you should also be pursuing relationships that can supplement your journey along the way. And it's everyone's not going to come along, right? I get it. I'm not suggesting that, oh, you pursue community and a community just congeals and everyone comes along. Come on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Julesy. It's where I
Well, I didn't get from that what I needed to get from it. I have no clue. I have no clue what to take from that at all. Like, I really don't know. I don't even know how to interpret that. My interpretation was she wants us to not prepare to be single parents, and instead do better, I guess, with connecting to your community. My issue is, you can do all that, and like she just said, you can be thinking you have a support system, and then they just, once the baby comes, hey, I didn't sign up for that. We just go on vacation sometimes together as friends. So yeah, no. And I'm generally going to stick with in this case, I see the single mother as the victim. I'm generally going to stick with the victim side as opposed to the opposer, which would be the community. So I'm not about to, I'm not about to prescribe that. I don't know. It just feels like she's putting a lot of responsibility on the person who is in that situation to cultivate a good relationship with their community, with their friends and family and their surrounding people. And my issue is, remember a little early, well, maybe like midway through the video, she was talking about, oh, when she was young, her parents didn't have access to the type of communities that would have procured a good environment for her. I think that's probably a lot of Black people's situation, especially if we're talking about Black women and single mothers. The idea of just forming a good relationship with your community around you and them taking care of the children together, I don't know that that's going to be feasible. I don't know if you're going to be able to procure that environment. In my mind, I liked the message better when it was prepare to be a single parent. Make sure you're prepared to be a single parent. With that being said, the panel is open to anyone who wants to talk about that. Also, we're going to start Dusty Questions now. So I'm going to play my little intro to separate it, and then we can get straight to it. I should have played my ghetto intro. This is going to be a very dusty video. Look, if I have to sign up to her Patreon and the whole video is like that, I don't know. I'm gonna need a better explanation. I'm gonna need you to dumb it down for me. It was too much jargon. I have no idea. I think she wants us to build a community to support the child and not glamorize single motherhood and undervalue the amount of work it actually takes, which is fine, but doesn't relate to the tweet. Yeah, maybe that's it. If I had have watched this, if she had have made this video without doing it as like contradicting the tweet, then I would have, maybe I could see that being more legitimate. But like as a response to somebody saying, hey, being a mother is, look at me with a whole iPhone, and I didn't even know what that sound was. Look at that. Listen to that. What is that? I've never heard that in my life. It's my first time with an iPhone. Too bougie for you dusties. What are you talking about? Hello, Jamil. Welcome. Hello, Level Up Single Mom. But yeah, I think maybe that would have worked a lot better without the tweet, because the tweet I think was perfectly fine. And if Julesy if she hadn't have put herself in position against that, I think she would have had a much better. It would have been a much better video to me. Okay, let's silence that let's silence that. I have no idea how to silence an iPhone. Look at me, just like my grandpa. Yeah, y'all just gonna have to hear it in the background. I don't know how to silence it. Oh, FWB text message alert. Is that like Amber Alert? No, I don't think I have an Amber Alert today. I got assimilated into the Apple machine. Nope, because I still have my Android and I like it better. If we had a healthy village, it wouldn't be in the current state it is today. Okay, let's go back to Dusty Questions. Because the first question we got asked the last time was, I had to pause at the beginning of the video, and we had to do that as a break because it was... During a drinking game, you find out that your significant other had a same-sex sexual encounter during college. How would you feel? Explain. That's going to be the first question. I'm going to need somebody to come up and answer it. The link is pinned. The panel is open. Yeah, I'm going to need somebody to, because I'm not going to answer that one. And let me type it in the chat so I can put it on the screen. Hello, Lorenzo. Team Android. Yes, Team Android. Android better than iPhone. Thank you. Thank you. Hashamanana Hashida Honda. Amen. Hallelujah. Okay, let's see. Again, during a drinking game, you find out that your significant other had a same-sex encounter during college. How would you feel? Explain. Okay, the question's on the screen. I'm gonna let that marinate in y'all minds for a second. I think this is a more saucy question for women. I think women mind more. I don't think men generally care if their partner has kissed somebody. Have I asked this before? Hold up. Let's move on to the next one then. Nope, can't ask that one. I'm looking for something I can say on YouTube. I think all of these questions are pretty similar, actually, to other ones in the deck. Hello, I see you're here to serve. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Did you come up to answer the question?
Repeat the question. Sorry, because I was messing with my camera.
During a drinking game, you find out that your significant other had a same-sex encounter during college. How would you feel? Explain.
During a drinking game?
Mm-hmm. It just slipped out.
So do you want me to respond to how I would respond if I was drunk?
Look, you can respond however you want to respond.
Oh gosh, I'd probably be like, why didn't you tell me? Blah blah blah. That's the drunk response. But yeah, how long ago was college? I got married when I was 25. He was he was still in college. So I'd have to ask, like, when did it happen?
Assuming y'all weren't together and he was single.
Yeah, we weren't together. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Do you think a lot of women would answer that way? I feel like most wouldn't.
Um, I think it
Somebody
depends on your personal beliefs, right?
somebody said, was he pitching or catching? Who did the bending?
Who did the bending?
Does who did the bending matter?
Were you top or bottom? I mean, at that point, it doesn't. I don't think it matters. Now I'm gonna think with my, because I believe in for STDs and stuff like that.
Mm,
So yeah,
okay.
that's a lot. Did he give the homie head? That'd be the other question. I probably have a lot of follow-up questions. Follow-up questions.
You have a lot of follow-up questions. I feel
Yeah.
okay when it comes to giving the homie head, I don't personally feel like that could even be considered a same-sex encounter. When I'm thinking of a same-sex encounter, I'm thinking about something gay. So I'm not thinking about
Oh,
something
okay.
giving the homie's head, for example.
Right.
Um, but yeah, we can move on from this question. I think
Gotcha.
we've answered it thoroughly. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think it matters who
I
do the
am
bending.
investigative. I know how they felt about it and how it went. So I like that Stellar Star 36. I'd be asking lots of questions.
The other MJ, was the behavior continue and are they still having sexual feelings about men? So would it matter if they're still having sexual feelings about men?
Feelings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, definitely. So that's when it comes to that question of how do you define your sexuality, right? Um i i do feel that it is on a spectrum, right, for people.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I'm going to be involved with somebody because I am a monogamous type, I would need to know, yeah, do you still have those feelings, because you may want to explore more. And if you're going to explore more, then we're not going to be together.
So when they say, do you still have sexual feelings about men, my question is going to be, so I think it would be different if my partner wants to explore, has sexual feelings for, um, I guess it would be women because they want to explore outside of the relationship and experiment with women or do something, open up the relationship or polyamory or whatever, versus them just being attracted to women, as in that's their sexuality. So yeah, I think that's what I would. I think both genders find both genders attractive to a degree.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can recognize beauty as it is in the eye of the beholder, but I can definitely be attracted to somebody.
He can tell me in detail what happened, when, and if there's footage. Speaking to the microphone. Do y'all actually want to see Like, forget the same sex part. Do y'all actually want to see like your partner with someone? I feel like that would just make me really, really jealous to see them.
With somebody else, yeah.
Maybe I'm just too possessive. Okay, let's see what we got.
Hi, Alicia.
That's not Dusty. Hi, who?
Alicia.
Okay. I thought you said Cynthia. I'm finna ask what you doing over here. Ooh. Mm.
Okay, I'm ready. You clearly like this question. Lord, I'm scared.
You don't believe your significant other has what it takes to make the dream they're chasing come true. It's been years of failing. Do you tell them how you feel? Explain.
Yes.
You gonna tell them that you need to give up the rap career,
Yes.
even though it's their dream.
Yes. Because I grew up poor and I'm not trying to be poor. And if I'm not trying to stay poor, and if you get rich after you leave me because somebody wanted to continue to, pay for whatever, then that's that. When you say years, that's years.
Would it matter if they have an income outside of this? Like, would it matter if they have this is a hobby as opposed to them seeking
Yeah,
financial?
that matters. hmm
So if it's a hobby, you don't care.
If it's a hobby, I don't care.
Okay, so if they're building like a train replicas, but the train replica just fall apart every time, you don't care. You're not gonna tell them to give it up.
No.
What if it becomes an obsession?
Obsession, then you start affecting finances and time with your family and stuff like that. We're gonna have a conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see what's up next in my dusty deck. I'm gonna tell them to give it up. If it's annoying, that's just how it is. Even if it's no detriment at all to anything in our lives. I don't like your used pistachio collection. No, that's
Your
disgusting.
used pistachio collection.
I need you to give it up.
I want Alicia, what's so sad? Tell me what makes it so sad.
Wait, giving up somebody giving up the
I don't
dream.
know if she's referring to that part because yeah, I need more details because she could be responding to somebody else.
They said don't forget to type the questions. Okay. Entertaining while I type this up. I'm a slow typer. Go ahead, what you say.
Okay. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Miss D said he's not Eminem. Get a job. Yeah, that makes a difference. Like if you're doing something on the side, I believe in hobbies or whatever. Um, Now remember, it's yes, an expensive hobby, but if they can support their expensive hobby without affecting the household, by all means do it. By all means do it.
Even if it's an annoying hobby like
Even
collecting.
if it's because that's not I'm gonna put you in another room with your hobby.
Don't they bother you with it? Babe, I got another pistachio. Look.
Oh, Alicia said if his dreams don't pan out, that would break my heart. It would break my heart. But I'm not above having difficult conversations. And the reason why I can say that is because that has happened in my marriage. So for both of us.
Okay. They're saying we did these questions before. So I think I might be in the wrong deck.
In the wrong deck. Okay.
Let me ask this. Do you think it's homophobic for a straight woman to not date a bisexual man? Or a pansexual, anything outside of anything I guess in the queer category, outside of just heterosexual?
Homophobic? No. Preference.
Biphobic. Right? Biphobic.
I think it's preference, isn't it?
Um
I don't think that's a phobia.
Okay. So when it comes to preference, I'm going to ask why the preference exists. And that's where I'm going to draw whether or not it's a problematic preference from. Like, would I call it racist for someone to prefer Black women or white women or whatever race of women? I'm going to ask, why do you prefer Black women, or why do you prefer white women? Oh, I prefer Black women because I don't know. That's just who I'm around. I go to school with a lot of Black girls. That's just what I find attractive. I think that's a lot different than someone saying, oh, I date white women because Black women are too loud and ghetto and ratchet, right? So at that point, I would call it racist. So when it comes to whether or not I would consider it biphobic, um, I'm going to ask, what is the what are you vetting with the preference?
For that, because for me, I can't compete with another man, right? I can't. I don't have that part. And so if they are sexually attracted to men, and you can't really gauge whether it's more or less or anything like that, I personally can't compete with that. So
Did you say you were attracted to both sexes?
I can find attraction, not sexually, right? But attraction, yes.
So when it comes to like bisexual women, this is not something I usually hear from men, as far as I don't want a girl who's bisexual, because I'll never be able to give her what a woman can. Um, why do you think it's one way generally? Or do you think it's both ways?
I think it's both ways.
I'm definitely going to say it's a women don't want to date a bisexual man more than there's men don't want to date a bisexual woman.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like when even
Is
when
it
we
because
look
of
at,
the fantasy that men generally have of having more than one woman in a sexual way?
yeah, I was gonna say, even when we look at something like polyamory, I think men, when they look at situations where there's going to be more than one man, and women too, maybe, don't generally look at it as favorably as if there's a situation where there's going to be two or more women and one man. So I do feel like it's going to be bisexual men who are going to be. Wait, now I'm gonna need to look up some data.
Okay.
Production said most bisexual men ultimately end up couples with a man. So in my mind, number one, I feel like that's a stereotype. Oh, I'm not going to be able to give him what he can get from a man. I've
Mhm.
never. I guess I'm gonna need explanation for that part.
I just mean sexually.
Well, I mean, I could say that about anything, though,
Mm-hmm.
couldn't I?
Mm,
I don't have a big Peter, so I just don't date. I have a micro PP, so I just don't date women because I'll never be able to give them what a an average man can give them. I feel like you could say that about any.
micro, no. I don't have a penis. So, and if that is something that you desire from a man, I cannot give you, I can't give you that.
I feel like there are toys for that. Like I don't look at
I am well aware.
So the reason I feel like I'm adverse to that is because I feel like when it comes to bisexual or lesbian women, for example, I'll always hear guys say, "Oh, she'll never be able to give you what you need from a man," right? And I feel like ultimately it's not really about that. Feels like a shallow view of what it means to be
Mhm.
something sexual.
Yeah. I like the comments that we've got technology for that, but you can because there's more to it than
Not the attachments.
the attachments, right? I can't just take my boobs off. I can't do that. And there is a physicality to the way men are built compared to women. So for me, in my mind, I can't give you that. I can't compete.
So when it comes to, I'm trying to look at it from a perspective of if I'm dating a bisexual
Hmm.
woman, what is it that I wouldn't be able to give her as a man? This also makes me, it feels like it's like a kind of greed argument. Like, oh, they're going to be so greedy, they're going to want something from everywhere. I feel like a person can, I don't necessarily think that someone being bisexual now makes them seek something external outside of their partner.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't look at it like I can't give them something somebody outside of the relationship can, unless they're like looking to be poly or something like that, which I'm not interested in.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because on the other, emotionally and being able to give the feeling of security, I can do that. I can compete with that. It's just that would be my only hard stop.
The other MJ said I would date a bi man, wouldn't get into a relationship with them though. Now I'm confused because
Is dating not a
y'all
relationship?
don't, yeah, y'all don't consider.
Explain the other MJ.
I need y'all to explain. Am I out here getting played?
Or do you mean sexual relationship? The other MJ?
Let me find out. Y'all are out here being F boys to the okay.
Are you dating somebody who's bi?
No. How do y'all know I'm not bi?
I don't.
I think people get the misconception that I'm hetero. I'm canonically hetero flexible. I think people get the impression that I might be gay or bi because we had a very in-depth discussion about giving the homies head, and the conclusion of the discussion is it's not gay. I've never done it, but it's not gay from time to time to give the homie a little bit of head. Would you agree?
What's a little bit ahead? Do not answer that, Petty.
Oh no, I'm not on stream.
When you say hetero flexible, explain that. I'm learning.
I feel well. There's a difference between like. I feel like that's just the standard. Most people are hetero, aren't they? I see in most data, most people are hetero. Yeah.
Are they telling the truth though?
Yeah, I think most people are hetero, according to the stats. Like the LGBT, that's like a really small portion of the population. So I feel like most people are hetero, but I might be incorrect. No.
I don't know. Because after that conversation, well, I mean, there's been many conversations about people suppressing their feelings based on how they're raised and what kind of community they're in. So if people were being really honest with those statistics, I think we're going to see more that are not going to claim being straight as we understand more. I personally feel.
So you think the LGBT is going to grow? Paper says after how many encounters does it become gay? There's an infinite amount. Yeah, we decided that actions aren't gay. The outro doesn't help. I understand. But we're going to. Have you seen the outro?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't have to play it now. Let me move to the next dusty question, so we don't get stuck. Oh, did you have any comments for the video before we moved on? I forgot if I said it, but if anybody wanted to comment on Jules's video, they could come up, or if anybody wanted to answer any dusty questions. Oh my goodness. Your significant other tells you that they were as close as possible to physically cheating, but thought of you and came home. What's the first thing you say to them? I'm gonna let you take this one first.
What would I say?
They were as close as possible to physically cheating.
I guess I'd
But they thought of you.
I'd be like, what? I'd have to sit with that.
What are you doing after you sit with it?
Yeah, we're having a conversation. Why would you even get there? Like, how did you get there? What was it?
Yeah, I'm gonna need the who, what, why, when, where, and how.
What triggered it? Yes. What would trigger you to get that far?
Do you feel like hello, easier said with Meg. I think you might be new here. I don't remember that name. I think it's going to be, what do you mean when you say as close as possible to physically cheating? Was y'all like naked, but then you put your clothes back on, or
No, I don't even think that matters because one conversation that my husband and I have had is that if you feel like you need to cheat, just tell me so we can be done. It would hurt, it would be painful, but we're not about to do that.
so if they feel like they need to cheat, you don't think you can work it through?
Why would you feel like you need to cheat?
I mean, I assume that's something y'all gonna have to talk together about and maybe
Yeah,
to a
yeah.
therapist.
Work feeling like you need to cheat and being as close as possible. If you're as close as possible, you've already there is it's too much. Because I can't go through day to day worried about whether you're at work or what you're doing. I can't live my life like that.
I'm going to ask, what do you mean when you said as close as possible to physically cheating?
You need more details.
I'm gonna need to paint some type of picture in my head so I can understand.
Hmm.
Um, so I can
You
understand.
really want to paint that picture though? Like if you
Absolutely,
say as close
absolutely.
as possible, and then you basically didn't put the thing in. So that's all I need to know.
Look, I love imagery because I feel like it makes it easier to leave. Um,
Mm.
just really get a good image in your head. Just think about it, let it sit there, let it marinate, so you can leave. I feel like that's unhealthy. Maybe I'll talk to my therapist about that, but I need it to marinate. I need it to stay there, and I need to be ingrained somewhere in my mind so that when you
Mhm.
come back and say, let's work on things, bam, I get that flash. The tip was almost in.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't need you to describe it. I already, I have a vivid imagination.
So
I don't want the details.
I think the context matters as far as the lead up to it. Is this somebody that you went to a bar and then went back to their house, but nothing happened and you came back home? Is this a coworker who you've found endearing for a long time, have been having long, extended emotionally charged conversations with, or whatever? If it's the latter, I think I'm going to be less willing to work through that because I would consider that like an emotional affair outside of the physical, even if you didn't get to the physical part. But if it's the first where you went to a bar and something happened, I feel like maybe we can discuss this in a therapy or a couples counseling setting, and we can talk about why is this us, you are dissatisfied in the relationship? Was this a lack of discipline? Were you too blackout drunk to even like know your whereabouts? Because I don't see that as an issue of cheating. I might see that as an issue of some sort of discipline. I would hope that my partner isn't out like blackout drunk with random people. Like, I would hope not. But yeah, the relationship is going to, yeah, I'm gonna leave. Actually, no, that sounds like a lot of mental work. No.
Yeah, it is. It is because there's an aspect of there's a lot of things that we do before we get to the process of action. And so if that is already in your mind and you're planning and all that kind of stuff, um, not too much. That you're already thinking about it. You have been thinking about it. And I agree with the whole emotional, basically adultery. That's I can't men don't do it, but it's more of a thing with women, because if we are not being emotionally fed in our partnerships, and we keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, and then we see it happens to happen somewhere else. Um, if I mentally check out with you, I'm checked out.
Mm, yeah, heavy on the mental checkout part.
Hmm.
It was just as I was as I as I was like, oh, maybe we can do therapy and couples counseling. We can explore what it was that called. I was like, wait a minute, this feels like a lot of work. But I guess it's my yeah, it says significant other. So
Yeah.
depending on how long we've been married, then I might be willing to do it. But that's a lot.
Right.
You had comments.
I guess I would say that would be a good opportunity to talk about what may be lacking in our relationship, because I've been on that side of it where I've come really close to like cheating on a partner, and I told them about it. I was like, look, this is what was going through my head. This is the situation I found myself in. Do we want to talk about this? Do we want to work through this? You know, or do we just want to go our separate ways and never really address, what's going on in our relationship and why we're falling apart from each other? So I think it wasn't, for me at least, it was an opportunity to bring up some stuff to check myself and say, before I do something I'm going to regret, let me go back to this person and be like, look, this is where my headspace was. This is a situation I was in tonight. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be sneaking behind nobody's back and doing anything, but I also want to feel like I'm connected to you. And maybe you're feeling the same way. Maybe there's some other people you want to have sex with too. I don't know. But I feel like if they're coming home and they're admitting like they were in that situation, then that's them saying, we have problems. Let's talk about them.
So how would you feel if they had already gone through with the act, but everything that you said was the same? They came home and talked about it, and
I mean, I guess from that point, it depends on how salvageable I think our relationship is. Have we been together for 2 months? Have we been together for 2 years? Do we live together? Do we have our own separate apartments? Like, how interconnected is our life? And is this a one-off thing? Has it happened before? If you're being this honest, you might as well just go the whole full and just tell me everything you've been doing. And that's going to inform how I want to proceed, whether or not I want to proceed at all.
so for you, do you think it's pretty much the same between whether or not they do actually do the act as opposed to just stopping right before?
I don't think it's exactly the same. Like I said, if you're coming to me before something happened, saying like this was a situation, nothing happened, but something could have happened, and I want to talk about what led to that situation, and then there's a difference between that and you come to me saying, well, this happened, it's fucked up. Do you want to work through this? And I'm more leaning towards no, but I have, like I said, I'm more thinking about like how much, like what happened, who was it with, I think I'm still just going to be nosy in general. I'm just going to want those kind of like questions just for my own closure. But I don't know if I would, depending on the situation, I don't know if I would stick by them and how long I've been with them and how emotionally connected I feel to them. So there's going to be a lot of like things that we're going to have to hash out. And probably at the end of the conversation, I'll be like, you know what? This doesn't work for me. I appreciate your honesty, but this isn't going to work.
So what was the conclusion of your situation? You don't have to answer, but
I mean, we worked it out, and we decided to be open for a little while, and then we found out that wasn't working and that we were just incompatible, and then we just went our own separate ways.
So was it a scenario of you wanting an open relationship, or was it a scenario where you just were not satisfied with him specifically? Like, is this something that carried on into the next relationship? Like I was starting out saying I want something open, or was it specifically that you only wanted it open because he wasn't what it was?
It didn't, of course, it informed my relationships going forward, but it was me being in a situation where I felt like I was growing apart from that person and that we weren't connected, and there was like no, it didn't appear from my end that they were, I felt like they were just kind of there because they didn't want to be alone. And so I was like seeking my affection elsewhere because it was just like this body taking up space in my house, And so going into my next relationship, I was like, well, look, then again, I had these conversations a lot with people. I'm always like, this is what happened in my last relationship. This is why we broke up. I want to hear about your last relationship and why you broke up. Because if I get the impression that you're not, if it's never your fault you broke up or you didn't learn anything from your breakup, then that's telling to me that we can't really have an honest relationship.
Okay.
Just to so if they're cheating, if they have cheated, if they did the deed, there is no questions. I don't need to know how you got there. I don't need to know. There is no such thing. For me, I don't think there's a such thing as closure because you can ask questions and you can, it hurts. When it hurts, it hurts. There's nothing, anything anybody can say to make it feel better or to close. We have to close that chapter. I hope that makes sense. I just, because
Yeah,
you can stew on stuff, right?
but I feel like you're gonna feel that even if within this specific instance, I feel like you're gonna feel that even if they don't go all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I mean, I agree. Like what's it called? I feel like if someone comes to you after they do something, it might be from regret. Whereas if they come um, before anything even happens, I feel like that's more. I'm gonna look at that more favorably. Um, Roxy, I have questions, but I'm not gonna ask specific questions about your relationship. So we can move
Oh,
on
I
to.
don't mind because, like I said, part of being in a relationship is learning from your mistakes and learning where your boundaries are. And so,
Okay,
and
so there was an issue, and you almost cheated. The issue you said was you felt that he was unengaged with the relationship and that it basically felt like a warm body in the house doing nothing. Is that right?
yes, it was a she and not a he,
Oh,
but
sorry.
exactly, it was someone just kind of taking up space. They would like come home and they were like only half-heartedly there. You'd ask them questions, you get these simple one answer, responses. It was just like that,
Yeah. Okay.
engagement just wasn't there.
So in my mind, everybody relationship is different. In my mind, I feel like the resolution is that we need to work this out together as far as you putting in more effort to do X, Y, or Z. But it feels like you went the opposite route, or you both went the opposite route as far as, okay, well, since you're not meeting the need, let's open the relationship. Is that right?
Yeah, because I still really cared about that person. I still liked them being in my life. I just felt like this was just that one part of them that they were just this inability to be like emotionally invested. Like they're fun to go out with. They tell great jokes. They're a great cook, but then there was that certain, emotional intimacy that was just missing. And I felt like, well, you're 90% there, but this other 10% I need, maybe I can find that elsewhere. And then I kind of stopped myself saying, well, I owe it to them to at least go back to them and like be honest about what I'm feeling and see if I can get that or some kind of compromise on how we can both get our needs met.
And they were just like, no, I don't want to meet the emotional needs. I'd rather open up the relationship, or I can't.
I mean, it was a little bit of, and there was some hesitancy towards like opening things up because they even admitted like I don't really like being like all lovey-dovey, and I don't like being all like, um, I don't want to hold your hand in public, or I don't want to do this, or they just really felt uncomfortable with that. And so it was just like, well, how do we work through this? Because I think we make a good team, but I also need this more affection, so I can get it from you. But if you're not comfortable with that, I can go somewhere else. Like, and it was just a long conversation that happened over the course of weeks, and then we tried different things, and we realized, you know, it was pushing our boundaries in different ways, and it just wasn't going to work out.
Do you feel like someone saying, I just don't do X, Y, or Z, and then opening the relationship, do you feel like it's kind of a cop out for someone to not, for someone to be lazy? I'm saying on her part, not yours. Oh, I
Uh,
don't really show emotional intimacy. You could just find it from somebody. We could just open it up.
I mean, if you're not comfortable, then that's a clear boundary you've set, and I can either respect that, I can respect that, and then ask how we can work from that. And they were clearly saying this is what I'm not comfortable with, and me saying this is clearly what I need. So how do I respect your boundaries and still get my needs met? And how do like how does that work? And so that's kind of where the conversation led to, like, well, let's try this out. Um, and so, like I said, it ended up not working out because, like I said, both of our boundaries were being violated at some point, and so it seemed like we were compromising too much of ourselves to be together.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question to the chat.
Miss
Not
D,
about that. Not about it.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome, Kenny. Let me see. I'm sorry. Wake up. What were you saying?
Miss Deeds asked a good question if you want to grab it.
That's what I'm trying to grab. Let's see. I'm about to make it a poll. That's why I haven't said it out loud.
I got you.
I want some anonymous answers. Y'all don't have to answer with your username attached.
I'm like, what favorite celeb would it even?
Okay. The dustiest of questions. Yes. My chat came in with the dusty questions today. Okay, so the question is, would you cheat if you would never get caught one night with your favorite celebrity? Would you do it? I'm going to put that on the video. Let's get some accurate stats. Yes. I don't want anybody to hide their hand. Not the votes are coming in, and it's not 100% no. Oh, the yes is going up. Wait. Okay. I'm going to move off of your personal relationship. I got all of the answers that I needed. I don't think you did anything
That's judgy.
aside from almost cheating. A man is on a date with a woman. Excuse me. Let me save that one. You're at a bar when someone picks a fight with your significant other. This person is the same sex as you, but you are no match for them. Do you defend your significant other? Explain.
Wait. Read the question again.
You're at a bar when someone picks a fight with your significant other. This person is the same sex as you, but you're no match for them. Do you defend your significant other? Explain. It's Ronda Rousey.
Oh.
She beating everybody up.
Hello, 911.
It's a no. You just buy him a drink and move on.
Wait. So they pick a fight with your SO. Okay, so I read it as in they're already fighting, and it's asking, do you jump in? Would you guys jump? If that was the case, would you guys jump in?
Yeah, probably.
No, it's 101. So I'm gonna let them do their thing.
Okay, so maybe this is like a generation difference. I don't know. Y'all might be from two different. I don't know what y'all generations are, but we stepping in for me and mine's. I don't care if it's a man, if it's a woman. I don't like the idea of somebody having their hands on my significant other.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be there. Your hand is not a part of their body. Consent and all of that. Did you ask? I don't think so. And if you did, they probably said no. So.
So you really gonna brawl in the middle of a bar? You and your significant other jumping on one person?
Absolutely not. I have a firearm. I carry a firearm. I carry.
Both will go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll sneak in, get my lick.
Yeah, I just feel like nobody should be fighting. Why are we fighting? If they pick a fight with my significant other and my significant other is attacked, I feel like I'm now within my legal right to use a firearm or a taser or my fist or something. Get off. Back, I say. Now,
I feel like I would try to de-escalate it, depending on how intense the confrontation is. If it's just like you bumped into me and people are kind of drunk and kind of surly, I would try to de-escalate that and move away. If it's something super dangerous, I'd try to get the hell out of there with my partner. If it's no other choice but to fight, then yeah, we're gonna fight.
Look, I'm the police when it comes to my partner. I ain't never heard of a de-escalation at all. You forfeited your life when you started putting your hands on my partner. Now, if the bullet don't hit a lethal spot, that's different. That's up to you and God to guide
What if you
you.
accidentally hit somebody else in the bar? You killed like 2 other people trying to hit one person. Now
They
what?
should
You'll be
have thought
feeling
about that
real
before they
shitty,
came
aren't
to
you?
the. They should have thought of that before they came to the bar on the night that I was gonna be shooting. That's how I feel about it. I don't know. How do you feel
So it's
about
their
it?
fault. You ain't got no aim. Okay, I got it.
I don't have.
And
Wait, I don't have what?
you're at a bar and somebody picks a fight. You're taking that risk.
Wait. Because Rox, I need to hear what you just said. You said I don't have what?
I said you ain't got no aim. How you gonna be like
Oh, you
telling me
said
that?
no aim. I thought you said I
Yeah.
don't have no hands. I was gonna say,
No,
what
no,
do you
no, no,
think I
no. I
shooting the
said
gun
like,
with?
what if someone else gets shot? Like you're in an altercation and the gun goes off and you hit somebody that Billy wasn't even intended for. You know, like that's my worst fear too. Is like being in a bar and getting caught up in some shit you ain't got nothing to do with because people didn't know how to de-escalate something or walk away from something.
I mean, ain't that a risk with my hand? I feel like I could throw a punch and hit the wrong person. I have long arms. No.
Very rarely do people die from punches though.
Look, when somebody drunk punching them the wrong way and they fall and hit their head, I've seen it happen so many times. Don't ask me for a citation. I don't have one. But yeah,
Okay.
I'll try and de-escalate. But look, you got to the third. I said stop.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
You got to the third. Unhand her. I'm gonna give you 3. I'm gonna give you 3. Okay, let me move to the next question. Oh nope, not that one. Oh. You are about to get into. Let me type it. Let me type it in the chat. You're about to get into your significant other's car, and you notice the passenger seat is not how you left it. Do you inquire about it or not? I think I've asked this one before.
How would you even know that? Like,
If
are
you
people
ain't
that
never
in
got
tune to their seats?
you never got into the car and you lean back expecting the seat to be there and you nearly fall all the way back into the depth of Hades. What if it's like all the way back or something really far back?
I mean, I guess I don't even think I would ask them. I would just assume they were like moving something, or I don't know. That seems like such a weird thing to freak out over.
I don't know. I just Jesus, why is the seat all the way so far back?
It would
You
be
ain't never
so
got
far
into
up for me because I'm tall, and so if it's moved, I don't know. Yeah, that'd be odd. I don't think I even think about stuff like. I know I don't think about stuff like that.
I feel like it's just like in the back of your head. You're gonna sit in the seat and nearly fall back, and while you letting the seat, why is the seat so far back? And now I'm gonna be waiting for my whatever my significant other say. I'm gonna see what they do. Sometimes the car manufacturer make it so that when you turn the car off, the seat adjusts itself.
I really wouldn't think about it. I really wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't be worried about who was in someone else's car. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just don't have that kind of distrust for people that I'm dating. Like, if the seats moved and the seats moved, and I'll just fix it to make myself comfortable. I just don't think it's a weird.
Right.
I don't be in other people's cars like that anyway. I got my own shit, so it's weird to me to even like bring it up in a conversation.
Right.
I think context matters. If you tell me the only time you walk everywhere, and the only time you've ever been in a car is when you're having sex, now I'll be looking at the seat leaning all the way back a type of way. But if you go out a lot with a lot of friends, then I don't think I'm gonna be looking at it too hard, unless I already suspect something is going on.
Now, if I suspect something, then that's different. But if I don't suspect something and you just pull up to my house, I'll just assume your friends were in the car with you. Someone else was in. Maybe you were driving for Lyft. I wouldn't just assume that you had somebody in there and that you were cheating or something. That seems so that's such a huge leap based off of the positioning of a seat. That's weird.
The seat position is not a trigger. I think it would be like items. That
like
that
some
I would be
panties
right.
in there. Like I'd be like, what?
Right.
What
Yeah.
This ain't mine.
Look, when all three of us, if all three of us were getting cheated on, only I would know. Only I would know. I'm gonna sniff it out. I'm gonna sniff it out. You can call me distrustful and toxic. I don't care. Your
It sounds like you don't
stepchild,
trust nobody. You'd be like, who ate this cereal? There was 4 cups of cereal in this box. Why is it only 3 now? Who you had over here eating my breakfast cereal? Is that gonna be you, Petty?
yep, that's gonna be me. That's gonna look. What I'm wondering is, how come I looked into the cereal bag and the cereal bag is crumpled up like somebody rolled it up? Because I don't do that. I pinch it. So I feel like someone's been in my house eating my cereal. Why did you have someone over here
Stop
having
it
sex
right
on my
now.
dinner table and they eating my cereal after y'all getting Powerade and stuff because y'all had such a tiring event? I'm just need to know. I'm just need to know what's going on.
Petty, can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Where does all this distrust come from?
Who's distrustful?
I mean, this is some next level paranoia. I'm just like, the car seat, come on. There's hyper vigilant, and then there's like paranoid.
I ride alone in my car all the time. I don't generally bust my friends around. I don't do that generally. If you get into my car and the seat is leaned all the way back, I feel like something freaky was happening in the seat. I don't know why else the seat would be leaned all the way back. Maybe I had a crock pot. I was bringing something to the potluck. I don't know. That's not something I do. I just don't engage in behavior that would ever require me, in my mind, to lean my seat all the way back to accommodate something. What needed to be accommodated to the point where I had to lean the seat all the way back? Interesting. I don't know. That's gonna be my.
All right.
I'm just ask. I'm not gonna be like, you were cheating on me. I'm just ask, oh, why is the seat all the way back, and see how they answer. Do they start stuttering? Do they start trying to make a seat? I didn't even notice it was all the way back. That's weird.
Nah, I mean, I think that's a good answer. If you say, I didn't notice it was all the way back, or so and so was in my car and they fell asleep, or they had too much to drink, and so they leaned the chair way back and so they could take a nap while I drove them home.
Oh, what day was that?
That's too many caveats. You got no.
No, I was just asking what day was that? Like when did that happen? Yesterday, you were here all day. That's weird.
The last happy hours, we was out drinking, and that's how the seat ended up reclined. This is crazy.
No, I was just asking, when did it happen? Like, you've been here for the past week. Like, was this like 2 months ago? I feel like I've been in the car. Oh, yesterday. It must have been at night when I was asleep because you were here all day. That's weird. Oh, it happened at nighttime when I was asleep. I checked your location.
Well, you said you didn't want to go out, so we went out without you. That's how it happened.
Check the location. You went to your ex's house? Y'all stopped there on your way to drop him off, or like what happened?
No, stop it. I'm gonna need you to take that as well to your therapist, please.
That's weird. Or they lost something in between the seats. Yeah, let me find somebody pocket watch or something in between the seats. What is this doing in between the seats? Oh man, I don't know. You sure it's not yours? No, it's not mine. I don't wear anything like this. That's weird. Interesting. The next question, maybe the last. I have two last ones. Your stepchild's parent calls you about back child support. They expect you to pay what's owed because you're the spouse. Would you? Why or why not?
No. That ain't my child. I'm not paying for it.
I thought legally, well, wake up, you can go. And then we can talk.
Did you put that in the chat? Say it again.
About to. Your stepchild's parent called you about back child support. They expect you to pay what's owed because you're the spouse. Would you? Why or why not? So you're married to someone who is behind on child support, and the parent calls you about that check.
No.
Do you know whose phone this is?
And that would actually create a mess, because I'd be like, well, why ain't they?
Why are you behind?
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Wait, y'all went to the child support. I went to, why are you calling me? This is disrespectful.
No, because I'd be like, wait a minute, we got bills to pay around here, and if you can pay something that comes directly out of your paycheck, like,
right.
In most cases, like, what the fuck is happening? Like, did you lose your job and you didn't say nothing to nobody? Like, that's weird. That'd be the first thing on my mind is like, why don't you have this money that you've had for weeks and years or however long we've been together, and now all of a sudden it's disappearing?
Right. Well, and also my mind goes to more than likely wouldn't be married to that type of person.
Mm.
So, which is why I'm like, why would you be behind on your child's? I just, mm-mm.
That
Mm-mm.
part too.
Look, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why you call me. Let me see. Yeah, let's do.
I would thank her because I'd be like, I didn't know they were broke like that. Let me check up on this.
Okay. The last question. I don't know what I'm doing in this situation. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let the SO handle this one. You know, put on your big girl pants. Y'all gonna have to let me
Work
know.
it out.
I'm cheering you on. A man is on a date with a woman and she's on her phone the whole time. When the check comes, he asks for it to be split because of this. Is that fair? Explain.
She's on the date and is on the phone the whole time, like on the phone or like texting.
It just say she on the phone. She might be talking, texting, snapping,
Mm,
IG, DMing. Don't know. We don't know.
I'd look. Yeah,
I
I'd
would
be
just
okay.
leave the whole restaurant. She wouldn't even know I was gone until
Right. Like clearly you're not interested. Yeah, I would split the check.
I would just go to the bathroom and never come back.
We just came to the restaurant to eat, sitting together but not together.
So y'all don't feel like the man has an obligation to pay,
No.
even if he asked her out on the date.
No. Because if you don't really want to be there, don't say yes.
Yeah, that's an important caveat too. Like, why come on a date with me just to be on your phone the whole time?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely not.
if you're bored, then just say that and we can just like wrap it up.
Because he asked her to.
No.
No.
So if he invites her out to a place, she has to pay for her half.
If he invites her out to a place and she says yes,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're there and she's on the phone, not having conversation, not trying to get to know you, not investing in whatever little friendship we're trying to build, like, no.
I agree.
You basically came out to dinner alone. You can pay for your food. That's just that's respect.
Yeah, like is that hard for you to like make small talk for an hour? Like,
Right.
goddamn.
Y'all don't feel like the person who asked should pay, and that it's not dependent on like an obligation of the other party to do or act a certain
If
way.
that other person they never should have said yes if they're going to be on the phone all the time. No. That's very
It's a social
disrespectful.
contract. There's an expectation here. Like,
Yes.
that's ridiculous. To come out on a date and ignore somebody, that's rude.
Yeah.
Like I said, I would be extra rude and I would just get up and leave and not even say I'm leaving.
Dude.
Like you came to the restaurant to buy yourself. Essentially, that's what happened. So you pay for your food.
Let's assume this is the first date. I assume if this is like a relationship.
It's not even a date. It's not a date.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even a first date. You come on a first date, this is your best foot forward. This is your first impression.
Right.
So let's assume it's not a date. This is the first hoot nanny, the first hoedown. Do y'all feel like the person who asked the other person out has an obligation to pay for the date?
No.
Generally, not like leave.
No. Oh, in general?
Yes.
I would say yes. If I invite you out on a date, I expect to be paid that night.
But you're saying a person? Yeah. Whoever, yeah.
But y'all are saying that this is void if you do not follow. What voids it in this scenario?
Because if you're asking, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say if I invite you out on the date, if you don't want to go, then say that. But don't show up to a date and be rude and ignore me and disrespect me and just completely isolate me on something I wanted to be fun for both of us. You know, it's just so many different layers of disrespect there. And so if that's how you're going to act, then I'm going to take it up a notch and act even worse, you know.
I'm thinking of like if I invite someone to a concert, for example, I feel like I'm gonna pay for the tickets beforehand. If y'all paid beforehand, are y'all asking for y'all money back?
For a concert?
I wouldn't do something like that on the first date. Like, this is strictly a
I
happy
wouldn't.
hour, getting to know you.
Yeah.
Here's some $2 wings. Here's some $5 glasses of wine.
If I'm buying concert tickets, we know each other.
For real. I know you're going to show up. You're going to show up. You're going to
Right.
So let's say y'all pay for reservations. It's a fancy restaurant and your reservation includes all of your dinner. Are you asking for the money back if this is how they are on the date? Are you asking for their half back?
No, because
I wouldn't do this on the first date. Like, that's not going to happen on the first date.
If I've already paid, it is what it is. I wouldn't even say you're being rude, but I get up and leave.
Petty, you just ain't gonna get us on this one. Like, no one, like,
not gonna get
we're all
you.
like, absolutely not. Like, absolutely
Petty,
not. This is
what
unacceptable
would you
behavior. Yeah, tell us what you would do, Petty.
What would you do?
If she's on her phone the whole time and the check comes, I don't think I would ask to split it. That feels like it's out of spite. If we've already agreed, whatever we agreed to before the date, I assume is what's going to happen. Like if I've agreed to pay for it, I'm going to pay for it. If we agree that we're splitting, then we're going to split or whatever. I feel like but that's something I defined before the date happened. So to go against that, I feel like would be going against what I said I would do, which feels like a contradiction of my own values. Now I feel like I'm not a man of my word. So if we haven't discussed what's going to happen as far as payment for the date, I guess we can split it. If we've already discussed, I assume we're going to do whatever we discussed beforehand.
Well, that's different if you discussed it beforehand. But your question was, if a man's on a date with a woman and she's on the phone the whole time, you know what I'm saying? So let's take the sex out of it. If I am on a date with a person and they are on the phone and it's our first encounter, the waiter is going to come and say, is this separate or together? And I'm going to say separate because we were not having interaction, conversation,
okay,
whatever.
So you're saying even if I've promised to do this before the date?
Yes, that's just me.
So like, how far does this extend? What if I find your own Uber home? I don't care if it's unsafe out there. You disrespected me on this date, so figure it out.
I wouldn't even have that conversation. We are not. I would have left. There is no conversation.
So y'all think that's now she got to walk out here in an unsafe neighborhood because I'm
not eating.
Why are you in an
unsafe neighborhood anyway?
It's a Popeyes. I don't know.
I'm not going to Popeyes either. On
churches.
This is terrible all around. Everybody just needs to go home and not date anymore.
It's churches and Popeyes in this neighborhood. There's not a KFC in sight.
I would go back. I would take it back a step and say I would have one caveat. I would bring it up to them that I noticed they're on their phone a lot, and I would appreciate it if they would stop doing that. If it doesn't end after that, then I'm definitely being like, "Hey, we're splitting this," or "Hey, I'm leaving." You know, I would give them an opportunity to rectify it before I just kind of walked out.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to them during the day. Hey, I feel like I'm gonna voice my concern is what I'm going to do. Hey, I feel like you're kind of what's going on? Do you not want to be here? Yeah. Cheeky.
Prince.petti, what's up, dog?
Hi. I haven't heard from you in a while.
Man, I'll be watching Themis and stuff, so I was been catching on. I had been made the point that Annalicia went on to Destiny 2 months before Angry Man and nobody brought any real complaints. But now that it's being carried over, that's fine.
Wait, what was the point? About a man paying for the date?
Huh? Do what? What's up, man?
So today, okay, here's the prompt. I'll let you answer it. A man is on a
Mhm.
date with a woman and she's on her phone the whole time. When the check comes, he asks for it to be split because of this. Is that fair? Explain.
Yeah, sure, it's fair.
Do
Um,
you, mhm.
Go ahead. What's the question?
Do you think it would be different if the man had promised to pay for the date prior?
Yeah, it would be different.
So in that case, would it still be fair, or should he still pay for the date?
If
Even
he made a promise, I would prefer him keep the promise. That's me personally. I would do it off of principle of me, but not necessarily due to her actions. But if I didn't make no promises, if I say let's go out and you say yeah, and then you just trash, and I'm like, I didn't say I was gonna pay for it. I said let's go out.
um,
Teddy, that was
That's
not in the question, though. That was
after a
not in the
butterfly said,
question.
Jayla Fox Popeyes or a different Popeye.
or or here's a loophole, right?
Mhm.
No,
You don't pay for that first place, but then you go to a second place and go, I'll pay for this one.
we ain't going nowhere else. If you are on, if the prompt says on the phone the whole time, no.
I agree with Cheeky as far as I'm going to keep whatever promise I made prior
But
to
that
the date.
wasn't in the question, Petty.
We extended the question. We added things. We added different.
Oh, Petty doing what Petty does. Okay, I got you.
That's like I like Cheeky. Cheeky said I'm going to keep just based on his values. He feels like it would be good for him to keep his promise because that's what he said he would do. What happened? Well, what happens if I become a man who doesn't keep my promises? Number one, I'm gonna start making some smart promises. Cheeky said he gonna find a loophole. Um, I'm
I'm I'll do both, right? I've learned in my previous relationships to make conditional promises. Like all of them going to be conditional.
I don't know that I do that, but I mean, yeah, some stuff is conditional. If you're in a relationship, it tends to be. But in regards to a first date, I feel like I'm just going to say, if I'm saying I'll pay, I feel like there is just something here that I feel like is worth investing in. If I lose my investment, I assume it's just a first date. I'm only losing what I'm willing to invest on a first date, which I don't know how y'all first dates are. I tell y'all I went somewhere for a first date and y'all was calling me poor. Y'all was saying I'm impoverished because I was talking about Applebee's 2 for $20.
What's
Y'all
wrong
was
with
like,
Applebee's?
Oh no, Petty. They so was Petty.
When
These
did that
these
happen?
these people have the highest of standards. If you try to introduce a coffee date to them, they
that's
never.
what it
I'm
was.
like, yo,
I
No,
said
we
I
agree
said
with coffee dates. We agree with coffee dates because of safety.
yeah, and then I feel like there were people. Well, I was talking about Applebee's 2 for $20 outside of the coffee date.
Two
Nobody
for
was.
20 is amazing.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was like
Petty,
some
Petty.
drinks and some food.
Then I'm not gonna let them gaslight you. You was definitely getting roasted, and I was too, because I
I
agreed.
wasn't there
I
for
was
that.
getting roasted because my audience, I don't know if you were here yesterday, but my audience literally has legal experts, lawyers, DAs, attorneys. My audience is very cultured. I'm not in my audience's financial bracket. It is what it is. So I'm not going to be mad at people for saying Applebee's 2 for $20 is too low of a standard for them. That is their standard. My standard is Applebee's 2 for $20 because look, they also have the after hours drink for $1. So I mean, I feel like we
Yeah,
something
I
can
mean,
work
good
there.
deals, good drinks. Well, they're not good
right.
drinks, but they're
Petty.
sufficient drinks.
I think it depends on your location too. So, no, I don't think anything's wrong with Applebee's, but no, you're not take the Popeyes
Yeah,
and
that's a
the
no.
what do we say?
Absolutely.
Popeyes and churches. That's later.
Okay,
I don't
so
know nothing
Petty,
about advice, no.
I understand that your audience is culture, right?
Hmm.
And they're rich, understandable. Congratulations to all these successful black women in the chat, right? Just because you rich don't mean you get to shame me though. Like don't poor shame us.
Ain't
Right?
nobody shaming anybody.
Okay, you may not be doing that, and
Right.
I'm so thankful that you are not, right? Because it's just not enough. It's not. Don't do that. You can have your standards if you want Benihana's and all of that on the first date. Cool, but then don't be trying to dog me out because I don't want to take you there because I just don't
So,
know if it's worth it.
So here's my thing. My audience saying that's beneath my standard, I don't have an issue with that. If my audience had came and said, "Wow, you're disgusting. How could you eat at a place like that? You are the sickest of filth. I will never watch this." I feel like that
That's
would
what
be
they
a
were
lot.
saying.
They
That's
was
what they
not.
were saying.
They was not saying that in the chat.
They was like Petty, broke, and dusty. How dare he offer Applebee's 2 for $20? Don't you know how to live? You need it. And I was like, yikes.
Okay, if they're calling
See,
me, if I know, I'm not sure what level of finance you are, but if they're calling me
I'm a
broke,
janitor. I can't afford any of the things they be trying to
I
talk
am being
about.
a janitor
are
too.
you actually a janitor?
Oh my God. Are you a janitor as well?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
What
That's a
level are you?
coincidence. That's a coincidence.
What level are you?
Level 2. So that'd be like,
I feel like you hesitated. Now I kind of feel like you're making that up.
well, that's fine. You can feel like whatever you want. My bank account tells me what I know.
Do
Petty,
you
I do not believe you're a janitor. I have never believed that.
what? How do you mop?
In circles.
Okay, that's a really interesting answer. That's actually a really interesting answer. Which way?
Right to left. So what is that? Clockwise.
Okay,
Stop it.
Or
interesting.
counterclockwise, my bad.
Interesting. Okay. LB and Cantor on. Y'all have just hopped on. LB first.
I
Welcome.
just hopped on because I was here for that conversation about Applebee's, and nobody was shaming anybody. We were defining our standards and letting y'all know that, different people got different standards, and that wasn't that far for the people that were talking and watching.
You saw that, you heard that condescending and little snicker. Yeah, like don't do that. You don't have to do your rich laugh on the way out the door.
But who said anybody was rich?
LB, I
Financially
heard it.
stable and rich are not the same thing.
I heard the snicker of a rich woman. I will
So
be
now I feel like this is your interpretation, because my understanding of what happened last time was people were saying that they have a certain standard, and your interpretation was they're poor shaming. So now I feel like this is a you thing.
It could be. You know what? Let me take some time to really retro actively look at things, right, and be introspective, all right, because it could be me. I could be projecting my insecurities on you women, and it's not fair.
If you're actually a janitor too, I expect more.
Lord have mercy. Come on now. Okay, so here's the thing, Petty. It's always because I'm not like the janitor that's in the daytime. I'm the nighttime janitor. The ones that know. So no, there are no kids. The school is absolutely empty. So I'm alone with my thoughts. And sometimes every once in a while, you know, as weird as this may sound, no homo. The question is, giving homie's head, is it gay or not? It'll just pop up and I'll be like, Petty, let's see what he's doing.
So when it comes to giving the homies head,
No, that wasn't supposed to incite the conversation. I was just saying I got to check in on my guy.
I'm not about to go into that. I just think when it comes to giving the homies head,
Lord have mercy.
what you said regarding no homo as an introduction to that conversation, I feel like no homo is something you say when you're about to do an action that can be considered as homosexual, and you want to make sure the audience or whoever else knows that this isn't actually something you're doing as homosexual, right? You're kind of combating that so that you can say, even though it looks this way, this isn't what it is. But when you say that for something that's not gay, like giving the homies head, it's like a double cancel out. So you're saying no homo in response to something that's not gay makes it feel gay.
Okay, so by every metric, I don't know. I'm not gonna play. You know what? Pass. LB, you're right. I shouldn't project my brokenness onto everyone else. I apologize if I misinterpreted, women's standards as a direct offense to my own. Right? That's not fair.
LB, you can go, and then Cantor, and then I have a question for Cheeky. Then we can
No,
go around.
no. Ask them questions. I'm just here to listen to them.
Then we can go around and close out.
Well, while I appreciate the apology, I just want to note that Petty was the one that said that you were projecting things, which I agree with, but like just because you were apologizing for my position. But yeah, so pretty much like Applebee's, like for the record, if like you were offended about the Applebee's thing, I go there with my cousins and I go there with my friends. Like, I might even go there with somebody I'm dating, but like in the dating process, if Applebee's is the first choice, it's just noted as like a thing. um, but as far as the question, are we still on that last question?
You can answer it if you want to. I'll put it on the screen and ask it again. A man's on a date with a woman and she's on her phone the whole time. When the check comes, he asks for it to be split because of this. Is that fair? Explain.
I believe that it's fair because it's disrespectful to be on your phone the entire time you're at a meal with somebody, and then to show absolutely no interest, no consideration for their, not just for their money, but for their time and just the fact that they're there. That level of disrespect, I wouldn't even sit through it. I would probably say something, and if you revert it back to your phone, then I would leave, like the other people on the panel said. But I think it's fair to not pay. Is that what I would do? No. I've been in this situation before, not with the phone, just the disrespect and wanting to leave. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to pay for this. You have a good day. And then I never talked to that person again.
Okay. Cantor. Thank you, LB.
Hey, LB. Hey, Petty.
Hello. Good evening.
Hello.
I came up because I remember being on that earlier panel that Cheeky was talking about, and I don't remember us poor shaming anyone. We were just saying.
Oh my goodness! I've already confessed my sins.
Oh my gosh!
I projected.
I'm saying the reason why I came up today. Anyway, the reason why I came up today was to say that is we weren't poor shaming anyone. I was just saying this is what my standards are. But even in the comments, I was like, well, what's wrong with just going to get brunch? There's like, you can get like a cute little mimosa, panini or something. Like, it doesn't have to be expensive. But Applebee's, no, it's a no for me. But to answer that last question, yeah, I don't think it's wrong for him to ask for the checks to be split if she's paying him zero attention just on the phone the whole time. I don't even like it when people do that to me, so I wouldn't expect someone to put up with that. It's really rude.
Okay. So everybody seemed to be unanimous that it's rude. Two people on the panel say they might still pay depending on the circumstances. I'm going to play my intermission quickly, and then I have a question for Cheeky, and then we can go around the panel.
You really want to catch fucking 350 pounds of dude in your ass?
Of course.
Sounds like a good time.
That's a good time to me. He hop on my meeting, he start riding me. I said, Daddy, don't stop it. Look how he drop it. Just like a pilot, I'm all in his cockpit. I lick the cock tip, I let the cock drip.
The cock drip? I let that cock drip. Yeah.
You cut it.
Wow, is that a real song?
Hello, Afree. I haven't seen Afree in a while. Afree is busy. Who said? I'm sorry, I didn't hear whoever said whatever. No. Okay. Cheeky, what are you?
No.
What are you and Angry?
No.
Man what are y'all fighting about?
What are who?
What are you and Angry Man fighting about? I saw something in my feed.
No way you saw that.
Yeah.
No way. No way.
What is y'all's beef?
There's absolutely no beef. I just roasted him because he tried roasting me, and I just did all the things.
Why was he roasting you?
Well, he didn't roast me. He just took shots at me. All right. So again, I tend to be pretty cool. Right. I say things that evoke emotions very intentionally. I didn't to him or to anyone at that time. And he just came at me. He took 3 to 4 shots, and then I called him old, and went left. But it's all settled and done. Everything's cool. We all one big happy family. I'm the manosphere / red pill stepson who's not really part of the family and don't really want to be part of it, but everyone says I am, so I don't got no real choice. And we're here,
You called him a female.
What?
Was that what the beef was about?
What I call him? I did say you heard. I said you. Jesus, Betty. What I said.
I'm trying to. I feel like you're not telling me anything about the beef. If the beef is over, I feel like you can talk about it.
Oh, well, that's the thing. If it's over, why bring it back up? You know what I'm saying? They say leave the past in the past, right?
Yeah, we can leave the past past the outro. Like I literally played the intermission so that it would be. I played it so that it would be separate from the live
This
stream.
dude is messy. Yo, I see why everybody likes you. You and Themis are messy.
This has nothing to do with being messy, and this has everything to do with me not understanding the beef and wanting to understand the beef. What
Okay,
caused
so
it? Who started it? How was it resolved? What was
okay, so I'm not sure if you're familiar with this channel called This Is Fight Club, right? It's an offspring or offshoot of Anton Daniels' show, right? Where it's on tonight at around 11:45. It's probably gonna be on earlier because we do it early on Sundays. Or yeah, we start the show early on Sundays. So it normally starts at 11:45 Eastern Standard Time, and Angry Man is a very frequent panelist, and we had a disagreement. I stayed on topic. I didn't throw any ad hominems. He personalized things to me, and then I responded once, and it was enough to make him upset.
Okay, so instead of the personal response, let's talk about the disagreement. What was it over?
The internet or technology being a net negative or net positive. And I was saying,
what side are you on?
It's a net positive.
Why?
I think the advancements of technology has allowed for us to live a lot longer, find information to be more accurate, right? I think
Is it the internet specifically or technology?
So technology, right?
Okay.
Not internet, but technology, which the internet would be included with technology, but it was technology as a whole. And he disagreed. He was saying that technology has made this generation weaker, softer.
Wait, was this what he was saying on Destiny? Again, I didn't watch the whole thing because these are like hour-long panels, so I'm not about to sit through all of them. But he was saying something about the cotton gin or the printing press being like the best invention in the world, and how we haven't really had any good technological advances past that, or no?
That sounds a little off. I don't want to misquote the man because that sounds too far off.
I'll leave it. Yeah, I'll dead the topic. So I think I agree with you. Technology is a net positive. Alicia said, "Why are we up this late?" So I think that is my call to be asleep. We've been on for nearly 2 hours. I'm going to let the panel go around in a circle. If anybody would like to answer any questions from earlier or comment on what Julesy talked about at the beginning of the live stream, you can. If not, you have a minute to make your piece. Just a reminder that I did say today, if someone attacks my partner in the club, I am busting in the club. Please, everybody get down. I can't aim. Wake up, you can start.
Oh, you're violent. Okay.
I did put in the chat that due to inflation, the 2 for $20 is now 2 for $24. So I feel like that needs to be considered, especially as you say, you're on a janitor's salary, if that is the truth. I don't know what that range is, but we have to consider different options when it comes to dates as far as where to eat. The reason why I said no Popeyes, no churches is because I just think of it as a drive-through. I think that's my after going through the panorama, right? That's what I think of as just a drive-through. I don't go in there to sit and eat. So Applebee's is fine. Okay. That's my stance.
2 for $24.
2 for $24 and add tax and add tip.
Have you seen hot fries have gone from $2 to like $2.25?
Add tax, add tips, and then if you do drink, add drinks.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Informed us about inflation, Roxy.
I would say if money's an issue for a first date, just do something like a coffee or do a group picnic or something where you can just bring some sandwiches, get some white bread together, bring a $5 bottle of wine, and just do something like that. But yeah,
Look, I done gone on a Starbucks date and we get the receipt and they talking about $25.99. I'm sorry, what did we order? You had a venti mocha latte chocolate drip. Well, huh? I have no clue. I have no clue. Even coffee's not even safe these days. So understand, when I'm saying coffee, I'm not saying coffee because I think it's cheap. That's specifically something that I recommend for safety, because coffee's starting to be $25 for two. What is venti? I don't even know what venti is. So it's $25.99 for two ventis. We could have had an Applebee's 2 for $24 and saved.
Then do a picnic in the park. It's a public space. You can bring your own food, bring
I
your
don't
own
eat everybody's
wine.
food.
But
Don't
you
you know
gotta
that?
like them restaurant workers are nasty. So let's not act like they have the utmost hygiene in those places. They don't.
Don't you know the origin of the word picnic? I would never have anything of the sort in my life. I would never do anything like that. Maybe. I don't. Well, I don't think, is that safe. Well, I guess you
Public
can have a
park where
picnic.
there's people everywhere.
Depends
So
on where you live, right?
y'all are, if somebody's like, hey, I got a bed sheet. I thought we could I thought we could lay it out at the park. I mean, I feel like girls will do it with the if they like somebody. Actually, yeah.
It's not like y'all got some raggedy parks in your city. That's
I mean,
try.
I mean, yeah, we're eating on my blanket and get stabbed because
Did you
y'all
wash
want
your
to eat at the
blanket?
park.
dang. I'm like, I grew up near.
I think
Beach
y'all
City,
just need to
so,
move. Like,
we
find a
go
new
to the
city.
beach.
Yeah,
Huh?
where do you think we live? There's a churches nearby. What do you think this is?
Not like
I
so.
don't know. I thought a
You don't have
metropolitan
a
area.
museum or anything? Like nothing that you can go to that's not.
We have
I mean,
there's
even indoor
actually,
rock climbing is cheap.
have you guys ever heard of the MAP museum? There's actually, so in my city there's actually a methamphetamine
MAP.
museum, and they have every different type of methamphetamine on display in this museum in my city. There's also a Churches and Popeyes near the museum. What do y'all feel like my city is about, just based on these details? Talk about a picnic in the park so we can get trafficked.
We
get
should be laughing at that, but
Stop
You don't
it.
even have to call it a picnic. You could call it brunch in the park and take a woven basket with
brunch in
food
the
inside
so the man comes up to stab us, and I say, "Stop, sir! It's not a picnic. It's a brunch." Ah, dang it! I'm looking for picnickers.
you live in a really bad neighborhood, huh, Petty?
Neighborhood
I don't
city.
even want to ask.
But you're strapped, Petty, so
I know. Like, what you was about to buckshots all at the club. Now you can't do it in the park.
Huh? Wait, firing buckshots? Oh, wait, what? Did you just say you're firing buckshots off at the park? Did I hear that wrong? That make me want to
You're
eat
the
at
one
the
who
park
said you didn't
even
have a
less.
problem shooting at the club. So I'm like, what's the difference between that and the park?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
I
Petty, did you turn off super chats?
Oh, I've been demonetized recently, so I'm no longer qualified.
Yeah, I saw
for
it.
super
Put my
chats.
membership
The
on
membership
hold.
were paused.
That's what happened. I was wondering why my membership was gone. What?
They didn't like they didn't like my toxic male advice.
I think it's the outro.
They said it was harmful, which I think is good, but it's sad. So it's fine. We can just apply again after 14 days. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't appeal because I was actually unsure why it was demonetized. We just checked to make sure all the content was okay, and then sent in an appeal. So we're looking at a 14-day turnaround. In the meantime, the Discord. Let me create an invite. So the Discord is open. I'm going to put a link in the thing. My Discord isn't tied to the membership anymore because there is none. So You will now see a link in the chat. This goes to the Discord where we discuss certain things that I won't discuss here, like the thumbnail that I chose today. Yeah.
I need to understand that thumbnail.
So it was just me and some friends hanging out. Yeah. Cantor, do you want to close us out? Going once.
I don't really have anything else to say. But you're so beautiful, Wake Up Makeup Slay. So cute.
Oh, thank you.
I can't even get clout on my own channel.
You're so handsome.
Betty, you are looking very handsome over there.
You
Oh,
are
thank you for
beautiful.
the pity compliment.
What? I always compliment your eyebrows.
You do have nice eyebrows.
I know.
You didn't oil up
You
and
talking about
coconut oil.
I
I
know.
can talk about that today.
That's gonna be my nighttime routine right after this. I'm gonna get glazed up. Nice and glazed up like a honey bun. What somebody said, an oiled up potato? I was like, what?
You look like
Hey, you were
oiled up
looking
sweet potato.
very hydrated that day.
Yeah, I was just wet.
Very moisturized.
I was
Yeah.
like, somebody put moist in the comments, but they like dragged it out. Like moist.
Okay. With that being said, that is all she wrote. I'm going to be ghetto in the Discord for maybe like 5 minutes before I take my shower and get glazed up like a honey bun once more. Angry Man says only still. Yeah, he has some interesting takes, to say the least. He has some interesting takes. Prince.petti, you have a great voice. Somebody said my voice sounds like a cheese grater. I have no clue what that means.
They just be making stuff up, I swear.
New segment, Petty's pity compliments. Yeah, thank you all for the pity compliments. Glazed up. Hey, wait, hold up. There's a connotation there that I wasn't thinking about. No, I don't think I want to be a glazed up anything. With that being said, we'll end up on glazed up anything. Thank you, everybody who joined and contributed for this round of Dusty Questions. I think I'll change the title to something since we talked about Chelsea too. But good night, guys. Oh, make sure to like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. I think you're all subscribed, but yeah, it does help with the algorithm. Yeah, that's all I got. You guys got anything?
Nope.
Going once, going twice. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Good.